All right, everybody. We got a recap of round two of our game of Kings and Kaisers. Um, Been a very eventful game so far, and a very eventful second round. All right, yeah, that does it. A lot of chaos. Japanese battleship, or sorry, dreadnought sunk. Neutral powers attacked finally, and some Japanese units, a lot of German cruisers, sub, Austrian dreadnought, and Navy. The Austrian Navy got sunk. More aligned territories, rather, attacked or activated. And let's see, we lost an Italian fighter. We lost a few Ottoman pieces, Germans everywhere. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Even some American units. I'll get into that in a bit. Anyway, so Austria-Hungary came in and attacked the Italians, declared war on Italy, and invaded Veneto, and also invaded Greece, completely wiping it out. They pushed into Western Ukraine and bought more units in Vienna and mobilized a fighter and an infantry in Belgrade, however you pronounce that. And yeah, pretty much that is what they did. Yeah, if I'm remembering everything else, then sent units down to Dalmatia and more into. I think he sent more units into Romania. Those guys didn't just stay there. Anyway, so yeah, I think the Bulgarians came up there. I think. I don't know. Well, anyway, I'm trying to go off memory. Anyway, so Austria did that. Russia, the Russian Empire, trying to do as much damage control as possible with the Central Powers just plowing into their territories right now. If the Central Powers at the end of Russia's combat phase, if they control 7 territories, 7 original Russian territories, then an armistice gets offered to the Central Powers, and if the Central Powers agree to it, then all the Russian pieces on Russian territories, not including C units, all the Russian pieces go off, and you get a default setup accordingly based on the remaining territories and what territories go Soviet. And then the Russian Civil War then occurs. If they do not accept the armistice, then it continues as normal. But anyway, Russia is trying to do its best right now. Russia congregated in central Russia. They also brought congregated units down in Caucasus, and a lot of good that did, as you can see. And they've been backing out of these territories with the Austrian horde coming in here, as well as some Germans here. And we got a lot of Germans here in Poland and in Lithuania. So we shall see. Petrograd is still currently the capital. If the Central Powers get adjacent to it or contest it, Russia can pay 12 IPCs to move the capital to Central Russia, to Moscow, but only under those conditions. Let's see, what else? Russia tried to attack the Ottoman fleet in 33 with that's my dog coughing for some reason. The Russian cruisers went against 2 Ottoman cruisers, and as you can see, Ottomans won, but I did take down one of the cruisers. And then we have some Russian action in the Far East as a response against the pesky German that was in Primorye, which you can see the Japanese took out, and then other units moving west, as you can see, the other Far East units moving west. So that basically summarizes Russia. Germany backed out of Belgium and congregated in Rhine province, and they also took out the French infantry that had Alsace, and as you can see, the French went back into it again. So fighting over Strasbourg continues. Okay, and let's see what else. So yeah, so all this stuff here is in Rhine province in Cologne. So we got a massive German force forming, but they had to back out to do it. They built a sub here. They also built a sub here, which got sunk by the Japanese sub. And the German fleet in 20 moved a sub to 17 to also convoy Ireland, since this sea zone convoys all of this. This convoys Ireland. It also convoys this, but you can only suck away 2 IPCs from a convoy and stuff, so it doesn't like double over. But anyway, so anyway, point being, Britain is being convoyed and lost 11 IPCs because of the German supremacy in the Atlantic. Then down here in Africa, we've had action. Germans going back from the British territories to Cameroon and Togoland, which allowed the French to come in there and liberate them, and building out of Germany, East Africa, not moving with it, but he's building up a force down there. So we can only imagine what will happen, but yeah, he's got a military base there, so he's able to build 2 units a turn there out of Germany, East Africa. Germany also activated Darfur for the Ottomans, so those units that came up from Darfur, infantry and cavalry, got to be included with the Egypt attack. And then over here, he tried his best to knock out my Japanese fleet in 52 with his cruisers in the Pacific, and well, it failed. He sent 3 cruisers against my dreadnought, and he sunk the dreadnought, but my cruiser and paired transports survived, and that allowed Japan to invade and take over Qingdao, and Japan invaded Primorye from Korea, and then also with the remaining transport invaded Marshall Islands and knocked out the last German transport here in 58. And then the sub up here took out the German sub that he built and also the transport. Let's see, what else? And then Japan built 2 transports as well. Let's see. Okay, that's Japan. Getting ahead of myself. British Empire can't do anything about this and has to have its attention elsewhere. Building units here, activating Portuguese East Africa, attacked the Germans in German Southwest Africa, fortified back in Egypt as best as they could, also brought over a mass amount of units and completely demolished Persia, and didn't lose any units in the process of doing it. So we got this force right here in Persia, and we have a fighter and more units in West India to get in on all that business. And then what else? They moved a sub up here, built another transport here. They attacked German Samoa to take that from the Germans as well. We have a race against the clock to prevent Japan and the British have a race against the clock to get Germany down to less than 3 territories in the Pacific, plus Trinidad, in order to prevent a national objective that the Germans can receive. So they have to get, by round 5, we have to knock out, let's see, they have the Marianas, they have the Carolina, Palau Islands, Bismarck Archipelago, and German Samoa, plus that little Trinidad island over there. So we have to get them down to 3 of those to prevent them getting a 5 IPCs. So at round 5 or later. So we have to take out at least 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to at least get rid of 4 of these, and then we have to completely eliminate all of them to get the victory, to get the actual victory point. So that pretty much covers that. Britain also sent a few units to Tuscany, and the Canadians are still stuck up there, and built 2 infantry in South Africa. Moved units that way that were there. That pretty much about covers it for Britain. The Ottomans, the time was right, and they attacked Egypt. They also attacked the Russians and completely knocked them out in Caucasus. And they are contesting Egypt, so the Suez is closed since it's contested. I don't expect to hold on to Cairo for much longer, but we shall see how things pan out. It's not looking good over there. Anyway, So that about covered. And then they built more units in Constantinople, of course. But all this is wide open, so all this is looking juicy. But anyway, Italy then tried to knock out Cyrenaica, failed. Reinforced Egypt a tiny bit. They took over southern Anatolia as it was wide open, and they attacked the Austrian fleet in their sea zone, clearing the Mediterranean of Central Power ships. So that's fun. They backed out of Veneto with what they can, leaving one guy behind so that the Austrians can't. They have to attack that territory before spreading. The Germans probably will, but you know, it is what it is. So that is Italy, and they also moved that dude over from Somaliland to British East Africa. America, while neutral in the war, still has not rolled any luck on the tech, and they invaded Hispaniola. They're allowed to invade one neutral with that's adjacent to one of their territories or sea zones without consequence. If it's a minor aligned neutral, then that would activate all the other minor aligned neutrals down here. And if they invade a second neutral minor power, then it would also activate those. So they get away with one. They can invade one, which is historically correct because the U.S. invaded Hispaniola, etc. Anyway, I've explained it more on the U.S. videos so far. But anyway, yeah, they lost 2 units invading Hispaniola, but they got it, so that's fun. And yeah, gives the U.S. a little bit something to do, a little taste of combat before they're fully at war. So that's fun. Get some experience, boys. And yeah, that about covers it. And then China is still neutral, but next round, if provided nobody enters China, their national protection war will begin, which will then begin a combat over pro-allied and pro-central power sides. So anyway, stay tuned. It's a very cool game. Not looking great in lots of areas, looking good in other areas. So it's a combination of everything. Only the first 2 rounds we've had just tons of stuff happen. So this is really cool. Anyway, carrying on and stay tuned for what's next.